You keep waiting for a sign, don't you? A sign that says she's actually coming back and that it's not really over. But here's the gist of this video, and I'm gonna give it to you right up front. Letting go doesn't mean you stopped loving her. Letting go means that you started loving yourself more. It means that you've let go of that relationship. It means that you've let go of her. And it doesn't mean you stopped loving her, but it means that you're gonna let her choose her own path in life. And the reality is, there is no other path. You've got to let people choose for themselves. There's a quote that says you must love in such a way that the people you love feel free. And that freedom includes freedom to leave you. And it's paradoxical to think this way. But the truth of the matter is you being willing to let your ex go actually proves your love for them. But I get it. The real reason you're watching this video is because you want to what's called detach from them. And the game of detachment is like a mental tug of war. You wake up and you think about them. You check your phone and you look at their profile. You check their stories, you check their posts, you check for any sign that they're missing you, and you know in the back of your mind that they're gone. Some part of you either still wants them to be there, or another part of you says it's time to let them go. What's really happening is that during a breakup, the parts of your brain that light up, that are affected the most, are the same parts of your brain that are affected whenever you withdraw from something. And part of the reason that you check their profile or you check their snaps or things like this is because you're getting a little hit of that dopamine that you used to get with them. So I understand that quitting cold turkey is something that's really difficult to do. But that gives you a clue as to where you should start first. So the first thing I want you to do is to completely stay off social media. I always say stay off for at least 1 week, but no more than 2. And I don't want you to stay off for more than 2 weeks because you need to integrate your regular life into some type of a pattern. And that pattern cannot be based off of whether or not your ex does X, Y, or Z. So by getting off social media permanently is giving your ex just as much power in your mind as doing anything else just because your ex wanted it. So you're not gonna let her have her way. You're gonna get off social media for a while as a way to detox. Then you're going to re-enter as a stronger, better, more confident man. Getting off of social media will stop you from checking their profile obsessively. It'll stop you from accidentally liking, viewing, messaging, doing anything like that that will make yourself feel worse. I know you may not want them back, but you damn sure don't want to feel worse about yourself because you maybe accidentally liked something as you were scrolling. I actually did that once. I was rereading our old messages through Instagram, and Instagram has this stupid feature where if you I don't remember if it was swiping up or down too quickly, it'll turn on disappearing messages and it'll let the other person know. So if you ever see that, that's what was going on. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was totally found out. And it was one of the most embarrassing moments of my life. I almost texted this woman and asked her just to block me because I couldn't live with that embarrassment. I'm not saying that you have to delete those texts or anything like that, but some people find that it's helpful. Some people find that they would rather have them there and that in a year or 2, they finally have the strength to delete them. And that's absolutely fine. Here's one that a lot of guys struggle with is the memories, constantly thinking about them in their head. The rumination about them can be devastating because it's so hard to get anything done. How do you focus on life? And the truth of that matter is you're not busy enough. If you have that much time to think about her, to think about the relationship, to think about these things, then you are not busy enough in life. You need to take on more. You need to either work more, take on more hours, get another job. I wouldn't suggest jumping into another relationship with a woman right now, but after a few months, you absolutely should because it shows signs that you're trying. And yeah, exes usually return. The thing about hope is it can become a prison if it's not grounded in reality. There's a saying that says, hope is a kind sailor and a cruel captain. And I know the saying. If she wanted to be in your life right now, she would. And there's a lot of truth to that. But the fact of the matter is relationships are complicated. Maybe she did want to be with you. Maybe there was another guy. Maybe she really gave you a try. I believe it was Captain Kirk who said, you can do everything right and still lose. She knows where you are. She just doesn't want what you're offering right now. Signs it's time to let go. Number 1, you're the only one reaching out. And this could go for whether you're in a relationship or out of the relationship. If you're the one that is always initiating calls and texts and dates, it's probably time to let go. That is obviously a love or a feeling that is not being reciprocated. And you should love yourself more than that. You deserve to be loved and in a relationship with someone who does reciprocate, who does try more than that. Number 2 is obvious. She's moved on. Now, a lot of guys think that because she's in a rebound, she has moved on, but that is the furthest thing from the truth, okay? But, after I always say about 3 months, after the 3-month mark, it's safe to assume that if she's in a relationship, the relationship is probably real, and that she's probably not in a rebound and has legitimately moved on. At that point, you need to move on as well. Number 3, you've been in limbo for weeks or even months. And this comes after the relationship. You've done everything right. You've done no contact, you've given her her space, and she still hasn't reached out. And it's okay. I'm not saying she's not coming back, but that kind of limbo where it seems like you're waiting for them, I'm not gonna tell you it'll ruin your life, but it certainly stalls it, and you don't wanna do that. But it does lead into my 4th point. You're no longer growing. You're just waiting. You're not becoming better. You're not going to the gym like you should. You're not working or going to school like you should. You're just waiting on her to reach back out to you. And if she does reach back out to you, you think it'll work. But she left you the first time as the same man you are right now. What do you think's gonna change? Nothing. She's gonna leave you all over again because you're the same man. Number 5, you don't recognize yourself anymore. See, when you're not growing, you're declining. You're not taking care of yourself. Maybe you're not taking showers like you should. You're not going to the gym like you should. You're not eating like you should. When she looks back on that and she sees that, she's gonna know that she was in her right to break up that relationship. But when you're the only one fighting for that connection, that's not love, that's self-abandonment. Bottom line is this, you're not attached to her. You're attached to the future of what you thought you could have with her, of the idea that you thought she was. There's something called the sunk cost fallacy that seems to play its way out in breakups and relationships. And basically, it's the longer that you invest in something, the longer you're willing to stay or the more you're willing to put up with, simply because you've invested so much time and energy into this person. And what ends up happening is they fall apart. And they fall apart because the feeling is not mutual. You've got to be in a relationship where that feeling, that work is. And what sucks is that you're not necessarily letting go of her, you're letting go of a story that was never finished. It feels like this. You're watching one of your favorite shows, and then halfway through it, you say, you know what? I'm done. And you never watch it again. You have no idea how it ends. That's how it feels. Because you'd really like to know what could have happened. Because it was never real. That future that you imagined, it wasn't with her. It was with somebody else. And you want to see that future in somebody, and you will. You hang in there, you detach, you let her go her own way. And who knows, you guys could reconnect in 10, 20 years. That stuff does happen, where you're totally different people. You decide to give it another try, and it clicks this time. Because sometimes all people really need is some time apart, some emotional maturity, and yeah, maybe a few years. And then they reconnect, and man, do they reconnect. Here's what letting go actually looks like. It's not blocking them. It's not removing them from your friends list. It's not yelling at them. It's not deleting every memory and every pic because it doesn't matter. Real letting go is when you stop checking your phone for them. You stop replaying old conversations in your head. You stop needing closure from the person who slammed the door. Letting go is not a sign of weakness. It's your first act of real freedom. When it comes down to it, you thought that she was going to be your entire book, but she's not. She was just a chapter, and she was probably a chapter in the beginning chapters, maybe not even in the middle of your book. I always say in my videos that the opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference. You know that you're letting go of her when you're indifferent to her. Not when you still hate her, not whenever you still feel that little twinge when you see their profile pic come up. It's when you get up in the morning and you sort of realize, wow, I haven't thought about her in a couple days. You're doing it, you're on the right path. And here's the thing. You being able to master this skill of detachment is going to lead you so much further in life, and you will be so much more emotionally strong that the next time you go through a relationship, maybe even a breakup, you'll know exactly how to act, and you'll be much stronger and you'll be much more attractive in her eyes, which will eventually lead you to finding that one person who can put up with you for the rest of their life. Lil bro, you got this, and I've got you. I'll see you in the next one.